Hi everyone, it's Kathleen Deggelman. Welcome to our webinar today. The topic is, are home parties worth it? I've been in the industry for 8 years and I definitely have some opinions about this, and I just thought it was time to check in about whether home parties are worth it or not, because there seems to be some controversy today about this in the internet and social media world that we live in today. Just to give you a little bit of background about me, I have been in the industry for 8 years. I've done extremely well. I love this profession. I have built international businesses in many countries, in the tens of thousands, and I've earned millions of dollars, and I'll share with you a little bit more about our story as we go on, but let's go ahead and get started. So, as I just said, that there's a bit of controversy about home parties right now, and if you look at this picture, that kind of tells you how some people feel about them, and a lot of people are referring to home parties as traditional or old school or offline, and the implication is that with the new modern way of doing everything online, that home parties are passé, and I just want to share with you my thoughts on that. So, are home parties really worth it? There's a lot of people saying that we don't really need home parties anymore, and what I just want to caution you about that is pay attention to the person who is saying that. What are they promoting when they say this? Because unfortunately, there are a lot of internet marketers and social media gurus that are bashing the traditional methods that we built the business with. But the reality is, even though it's traditional, and even though it's the way that it's always been done, this is still an incredible tool in our toolbox. There isn't just one way to build our business, and so you want to ask yourself, how do you want to build it? Do you want to build it with the traditional methods? Do you want to do it with all the new online tools that we have? Or do you want to do a hybrid of both? I personally am creating a system for my team where we do a hybrid of both, because I think they're both incredible. And the question I want to ask you, do you really want to throw out one of the very best tools in the industry? And I would caution you, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, because there are a lot of incredible things that happen at home parties that don't happen in some of the other ways that we present our products and opportunities to people with. If you ask almost all 6-figure and 7-figure income earners, what would most say about how we started and built our businesses? I can speak on their behalf, since I am one of them. Most of us would say that we built it largely on the traditional offline methods in the past. Home parties are incredible, just like one-on-ones, just like two-on-one appointments, coffee shop appointments. Home parties are great. Online webinars are a great way to do kind of a different version of a home party. And of course, the internet and social media have changed our world. So it's definitely a great skill to learn. I love and embrace all of the new online tools that we have. I would say that I've become a bit of a social media queen, and I went into that world kicking and screaming a few years ago, and I definitely believe that it is also an incredible tool to build this business. But I've just gotten a little bit tired of hearing people bash home parties. And the truth is, most teams are made up of people who won't build a huge online presence. For many people, it's just too new and different. And just like building a huge network marketing business, it takes a lot of work. And one of the great things about home parties is that everybody can do them. And before we go into a little bit more about the specific benefits of home parties above and beyond anything else that we can do, I just want to draw two distinctions between active marketing and passive marketing. Active marketing, these are just examples of active marketing. Active marketing is when you're going for 20 no's per day or 20 no's per week. You're reaching out to 5 prospects per day on social media. That is an active activity. You're hosting home gatherings. or you're attending home gatherings. You're picking up the phone and you're prospecting your warm market, or you're walking into, say, the owner of the dry cleaner, and you're prospecting him. That's prospecting to your cold market. Another active marketing activity is attending networking meetings. And then, of course, we've got the one-on-ones, the two-on-ones, the coffee shop appointments, the three-way calls with your upline, and then all of the follow-up calls that you do with the prospects that you're working with. So those are all examples of active marketing. Here are some examples of passive marketing, and I am not drawing any distinction in terms of good, bad, right, wrong, between active and passive. They are both great activities to develop, and they're both great activities to learn and to implement. So here are some examples of passive marketing. Posting inspirational quotes on your Facebook page, or your Twitter or Instagram or Pinterest. Posting product information. If you are representing a skincare line, you might be posting before and after pictures. If you're representing a service, you might be posting customer testimonials. Posting lifestyle posts. These are all examples of passive marketing. You're putting something out there, and you're hoping that you're putting something that provokes curiosity and creates a desire on the behalf of the person who sees it to contact you and ask you. There's a big difference between that and active marketing. Another passive marketing activity is blogging and building your list so that you have someone to blog to. Passive marketing is all about providing value to the community. We don't want to just be putting stuff out there that is equivalent to spamming. And the look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me types of posts really don't work. People just gloss over that, and they get tired of hearing about it. So these are definitely skills to learn. But they're not for everyone. Like I said earlier, not everyone is going to build a huge online presence. It does take time, it does take work. I personally love passive marketing. I love what I have learned and what I have created through social media. I think it's a great tool, but I think sometimes people go into social media marketing or more the passive marketing side of things because they don't really want to pick up the phone, and they don't really want to host a home party, and they think they can kind of do it by hiding behind their computer, and that just simply isn't the case. These are great tools, but you still have to make real connections. I have sponsored over 70 people in the last year or so via social media avenues, probably mostly Facebook. And a few of those people have actually just signed up on their own, but sooner or later we have engaged in a phone conversation. And if it's somebody that you really want to connect with and you really want to build a partnership with, then it is going to take talking to them. It is going to take more of the active marketing steps to create that relationship. All social media does is it just gives us more venues, more opportunities to make those real connections with people, and that's what we're after. You know, you can have 25,000 likes on your fan page, or 100 people, you know, watching your blog, but if you're not connecting with them, if you're not developing those relationships, then what really is the value in that? So let's go back and talk specifically about home parties. These are some of the things that I love about home parties. They're really quite easy. There's a formula, a format, a script that your company, your upline would be recommending that you do, and they are very doable for most people. The thing that stops people from hosting home parties is fear, and you as their upline want to help them work past that. What I teach is that as the sponsor, you want to be helping a brand new person to do their first 2 home parties, and at the 3rd one, you're really there to be a guest and to provide moral support, but they really should be hosting most of the home party by the 3rd time. But to really help somebody get started, you want to step in the beginning and help them work past that fear. Another thing that I love about home parties is they are extremely duplicatable. If you really want to launch a local area, get going with your own home parties and help other people to do the same thing. They are it's one of the fastest ways to create momentum in your local geographic area. Another great benefit of home parties is it gets you or a brand new person in the game. You don't want to, if when somebody comes into your business, you don't want to wait a month, 2 months, 3 months to help them host their home party. They're never going to be more excited about this than they are in the very, very beginning. So help them to do a home party right away. It helps a new person to experience success, because if you help them, teach them how to invite and help them invite enough people, they are going to have at least some people who want to be a customer of their product. So it's a great way to start a new business. And if you've been building your business for a while, it's a great way to jumpstart a business too. The top income earners, we always go back to the home parties. I mean, I had a mentor tell me years ago that the answer to every problem, to every situation, is to have another home party. And there's a lot of truth to that. And then in today's world, a home party doesn't necessarily have to be in your living room. It could be in your neighbor's living room. It can be an online webinar too. It doesn't all have to be physically taking place right in your home. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. The other great thing about home parties is these are skills that are very easily learned. And we'll go through what I think is the best formula for a home party. Who is the most important person you sign up every day? I had a mentor who's done extremely well in this industry say that to me years ago, and it stayed with me. It really resonated. And when I go to a home party, or I go to a corporate event, or I go to a training session, I'm always reminded, I know it's a great event when I leave and I think, I would sign up all over again today. So you are the most important person that you sign up. And how do you sign yourself up every day? You do that through a variety of things: reading and listening to what fills you up, hosting your own home party, attending a teammate's home party, going to a training or a bigger event, going to a networking event where your intention is to prospect for your business, being a student of the industry, getting on YouTube and Googling how to close, searching on how to invite, follow a blogger like myself, become a student of this industry. It will fill you up, and learning new skills is fun. It's how we're wired. One-on-ones can be a great way to fill you up and to get that feeling that, if I was just starting today, I would sign up all over again. In fact, after this webinar, I'm going to go and meet a teammate for what will be a 2-on-1 at a coffee shop in our local town. And I know how I'm going to feel afterwards. It just gets you jazzed. When you're in activity, you are more enthusiastic, you are more positive, and it helps create that long-term vision that you need to keep going, because there are going to be tough days with this. It's not always easy. It does take work. My good friend Kelly Banger always says, it's not called net talk, it's called network. And the last way that I've got on this list to help you sign yourself up every day is listening to your upline on a 3-way call. In addition to home parties, 3-way calls are another incredible tool that we have in the toolbox that would be considered traditional or old school, and they work. They worked 30 years ago, they worked 10 years ago, and they work just as well today. So these are all the different ways that at the end of the day, when you go to sleep at night, if you can answer the question, did I do the activities today that would make me want to sign up all over again? And if you feel enthusiastic and positive about that, then you did. I would guarantee that you did at least one of the things on this list. So home parties are incredible, and there's things that happen at home parties that are very difficult to duplicate in all the other ways that we connect with people and all the other ways that we share our product and opportunity with. They are incredible for team building. They're great for creating a community, and one of the number one reasons why people stay in our network marketing businesses is because they love the positive atmosphere, they love the friends that they've made. We love learning all the time. It is that sense of community that is the glue for the long-term vision for your business. So don't ever underestimate how coming together in person is such a valuable thing to do on a regular business, especially for your local team. And once your business gets big enough, you're going to be traveling to do the same thing. Home parties are inspiring, they're fun, they're social, they're personal, and they're great for showing how duplication works, because at the end of a successful home party, you want to be looking to the one or two or maybe even 3 or 4 people that are sitting on the edge of their seat and they want to do this. And you know that they want to do this because you can tell by their energy. And before the end of the night, you want to be talking to them and scheduling their first home party. And the saying is, we build from event to event, and that includes the one-on-ones, the coffee shop appointments. You build that into the home parties, and from the home parties, you're moving from living room to living room, and you bring that whole group to the big events, and you just keep repeating that cycle, and that's how the business takes off. That's how you get momentum. So what doesn't work? What creates that blah, 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 blah? I've heard this before. One of the biggest mistakes people make in their business is they become the person. They tell their team, every Tuesday night, we're going to have a home party at this location. I'll do the presenting. I'm not going to invite enough people, so I'm counting on you to bring people. And that just doesn't work. It's boring. It's not inspiring. It gets old. And another mistake that people make is they host 1 or 2 home parties and they never do it again. This is not something that you have to do all the time, but it is a great way to jumpstart your own business. But ideally, you want to start, if you're just getting started or you're helping somebody to get started, help them do their first 2, 3, 4 home parties, and you're looking for at least a couple of people that you can now move to their living room. And whenever you feel like your business is a little bit flat, or you just want to go at a faster pace, host another series of your own home parties. The same location, the same format, the same presenter, not inviting enough people and only doing 1 or 2, it's all going to create the same result. This business will not grow and people will fade out. So what works? You want to switch up the location. Like I said, don't become that leader that says every Tuesday night it's going to be at my house. You've got to move the location, because the truth is, people are much more likely to go to their friend's home than you if they don't know you. So you want to make sure that you're moving from living room to living room, and you absolutely want to encourage team participation. And what are the 2 biggest fears? I think it's taxes and public speaking. Public speaking just takes practice. It just takes effort. And if somebody is really afraid to speak in front of a group, even in their own living room, make it easy for them. They don't have to stand up in front of the room. They could stay seated in their chair. Give them something really easy to start with, and then the next home party, they do that easy thing, plus they do one more part of it. And ideally at a home party, you've got a couple other teammates who are in the trenches with you, and you want to encourage their participation. Don't be the one that does all the talking. Different people are going to resonate with different styles, with different personalities. So have at least a couple of people sharing the stage in that particular living room, and change up the format. I mean, in today's world, most of us have a variety of tools that we can use. It might be a video that your company has put together. It might even be a DVD, although I'm not seeing too many of those lately. It might be a recorded webinar that your upline has put together before. Don't always do the exact same format, because it does get boring for the distributors that are there. Make sure that you add training for the team that is building. after the opportunity part of the meeting so that they know that when they come, they're going to learn something new. And it doesn't have to be something that takes you hours to prepare. It could be 10 minutes on how to invite, 10 minutes on how to close. You know, it could be a little quick mastermind strategy session on creating a blitz day for that week. What works is taking ownership of your business. There is a completely different level of accountability between the statements. I am going to host a home party one night a week for the next 3 weeks. I'm going to invite at least 20 people to each one. I will follow up with the people who don't come to the first week and invite them to the second week. And if they don't come the second week, I'm going to invite them to the third week, because then people are going to know. Take all of that versus my upline is having a party next Wednesday at her house. If I get around to it, I'll invite a couple of people and I'll go. Which one is taking ownership of their business and which one is going to have the most success? And another thing that works is teaching your team how to host home parties. Like I said, you cannot be the person who always has it in their home and does all the talking. That doesn't duplicate. So these are some of the necessary skills for effective home parties. How to invite. And there's 2 phrases that I really want you to remember. Most people ask, are you interested in learning more about this? And you know what? The truth is, people are so busy, they might really not be all that interested. But when you ask them, are you open to learning about a new way to make income with me on the side that won't interfere with what you're already doing? Are you open? Nobody wants to say, no, I'm not open. Nobody wants to say that. Think about it. It doesn't feel good. We don't want to say, no, I'm not open. I'm actually closed. Most of us, when asked, are you open to something, we'll say, yeah, we're open. So that just gives you that wider space to share what you have going on. And another one is when you invite them to a home party and they say, yeah, I'll be there. You want to follow up with, can I count on you? I've got 10 seats available, and I really need to know that you're going to be one of the 10. Can I count on you? Nobody wants to be somebody that can't be counted on. So are you open and can I count on you are 2 tips for how to invite, and I'll do another webinar here soon that goes much more into in depth about how to invite. And another skill is just how to invite enough. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they're first getting going with home parties is they don't invite enough people, and they invite by email, which also doesn't work. So you want to pick up the phone and call at least 20 people. Typically, the way the law of averages work with this, if you call 20, you're for sure going to have at least 5. And 5 is a great number for a home party. 5 to 8 is a great number for a home party. When it starts to get to be really big, it can be kind of unmanageable, and you lose some of that personal touch. I mean, when it starts to get to be really big, that's typically an indication that there's a handful of people that should be having their own home parties too. Another great skill is how to close. You know, we are leading people to a decision, and people are looking for us to share what we think they should do. And sometimes we overcomplicate this by giving people a lot of choices. So when you close, make sure you are leading people to a decision that is really simple. Ask more questions and listen more than you talk when you're asking those questions. And what's the types of questions that you're asking, you're trying to draw out in somebody, you know, potentially what their health issues are. If you're in the wellness wellness business, you also may be asking them about, you know, their happiness levels, how they like their current jobs, what do they do for fun. You're looking for those opportunities where you're going to be able to provide a solution for whatever it is their issues are. And what I have found is if you give people a chance to talk, they will share with you pretty quickly whatever pain is going on in their lives. That might be financially, it might be health-wise, but it's typically what we can pretty quickly come to when we're asked to share what's going on with us. So Another great skill to learn for an effective home party is how to project enthusiasm. And this is something that you can do based on your personality. I am not the person that's going to be doing cartwheels from the stage. It's just not my style. But when people talk to me, they know that I really believe in this industry, that I believe in my products, that I love the experiences and the lifestyle that I've been able to create. So gear how you project enthusiasm to what works for your personality. I tend to be a little bit more reserved, so like I said, I'm not going to be that person that's jumping up and down and shouting and screaming, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's plenty of people that that resonates with, but I'm looking for the people that resonate with my style. Another great skill for home parties is you need to get really good at telling your story. And all your story is your personal testimonial of your products and your personal testimonial of your business. And you don't necessarily have to tell both, but you need at the, the snap of a fingers to be able to share with enthusiasm, with honesty, with integrity, what your story is around whatever it is that your company offers. And that's something that you're going to do on a very regular basis in your one-on-ones and your home parties and any online sort of webinars that you would hold to. And another great skill for effective home parties is, of course, how to follow up. It is so true. The fortune is in the follow-up, and at the end of every home party, the goal is to book the next home party. So you're looking for that person. You really don't want to leave. If you're helping your team to develop, you really don't want to leave before they've got their next home party booked. So here's what I consider a great format for a home party. It typically starts with a short welcome, whoever's home that you're in. They want to welcome people to their home, and they want to tell their story. What was it about this product or service or business that resonated for them? And this is something that, the welcome and the story really shouldn't take more than 3 to 5 minutes. And if you've got a couple other teammates there, then now would be a good time to ask them to share their testimonials, either product or business. And then the next part, this is really critical, is you want to use a tool. You want to be able to point to a PowerPoint that's available through your company, or maybe an online video that your upline has created. It might be a recorded webinar. It might even be a DVD. But the bulk of the meeting is not you talking. It's pointing to a tool. Because you've got to remember, however you share the business, however you present the home party, all of the new people are looking at this and they're asking themselves, could I do this? Do I want to do this? Is this easy? So if it takes you 2 hours to do a home party, a lot of people are going to be sitting, even the people that are positive will maybe thinking, I don't have this kind of time. So it's got to be short. It's got to be peppy. There's got to be some energy, and it really shouldn't be longer than about 30 minutes. The ideal home party is about 30-40 minutes, and then that leaves 20 to 30 minutes for socializing and connecting and signing people up afterwards. So after you use the tool, and again, that is the bulk of the meeting, then you want to do maybe like a quick show and tell of the products or the comp plan. Don't spend a whole lot of time on this. This is just really kind of like a wrap up, and then you want to close. You want to ask, who is ready to sign up, who's would like to host a home party, who wants to do this with us, and always have your company applications and pins on hand. And that's it for a home party. The most important part of the home party is what happens before and what happens after. It's the connecting with people. I rarely take Q&A during a home party because all it takes is one nut bar to derail the energy in the room. So be very careful. I don't think it's a good idea to take Q&A during a home party. And how I wrap it up at the end is after I close and we pass out the applications, I say something like, you don't need to sit anymore. Let's get up and get to know each other. I mean, get people up and moving around so that whatever questions come up can be handled outside of the quote more formal part of the presentation. So again, I just want to say home parties are incredible. They are such still just such a very, very, very valuable way to build a business. And online webinars, there's definitely a great place for them too. You can I actually just did an online webinar for a team in Canada last week, and how an online webinar works is it can be the same format as a home party. It's just that you, the host, are not in the living room. You're being projected over the computer or the TV screen. So they really can be run very, very similarly. And online webinars are great when you want to bring in your upline, or there's somebody who's remote and you want them to be part of your home party. Like I said, I love all of the tools that we have available with technology today, and I implement all of them. I mean, I do way more than I ever would have thought that I would do online, but I've really just thought it was time to kind of do a level set on how valuable home parties are too. So I've got a question. I know there's somebody out there that is saying, I really, really, really don't want to do home parties. What if home parties just really aren't for you? Then I want to encourage you to do what resonates for you. Maybe you love one-on-ones. Maybe you love home parties. Maybe you don't. Maybe you love picking up the phone and making 20 phone calls a day. Maybe you're great at using your upline for three-way calls. Maybe you love the online world and you're great at putting together online webinars for your teams that are remote. Maybe you're the social media king or queen, and maybe you're a great blogger. Do what resonates for you, but the key is in the doing of it. You can't talk about this business and think that it's going to happen. But I'm not here, I didn't put this presentation together to tell you that you have to do home parties. If you really, really don't want to take advantage of just it's just a tool in the toolbox, but if it's not for you, then just choose what you're going to use to foster that same sense of community. I mean, you have to do something. All I'm here to tell you is that home parties are a great tool in the toolbox, and they are an incredible, valuable resource for you and your team still today, even in this online world. The key to winning this game, it comes down to one thing: how many people see your presentation. And all home parties are just a great way to leverage your time. So I hope that you treat this like the million-dollar business that it is, and that you act like a business owner. And I was thinking about this slide. I'm in this gal in the hammock. She looks like she's on vacation. She looks like she's having a great time. But you know what? She might have her iPad sitting on the sand right underneath her, and she just did an online webinar. I have never seen a business model that can create the most incredible lifestyle where you really can work from anywhere, and you can build a team almost anywhere in the world, depending on where your company is open. But what it takes is acting like a business owner. You have to take ownership of this business and treat it like a business. If you're in this just to make hobby money, that is fine too. But just know where you are with it. If you're somebody that wants to make 6 and 7 figures, the more you embrace this and the more you create an environment of accountability and really treat it like the million-dollar opportunity that it is, then the faster your business is going to grow. So thanks for being with me today. If we're not connected yet on my blog site, go to KathleenDeggelman.com and enter your name and email, and I will send over my free Secrets to Success for Entrepreneurs book. And you'll also be on my mailing list to learn about future webinars just like this one. And if you receive value from this presentation today, I'd love to see your comments on my Kathleen Deggelman Facebook Facebook page. I will see your messages and I'll respond. And thanks for joining me today. Have a great rest of the day.